So hi everybody, so today we are again with Richard Wood in Trondheim in Norway, and Richard will speak this time about trade, environment and globalization. So hi again Richard.
Hi Nicholas, yeah.
So can you first present us your research about environment, trade and the globalization?
Yeah, well, related to the work that we do on development of databases that track the environmental impacts between the production and consumption, is that we can actually look at how we're actually developing in different nations around the world, and especially over the last 15-20 years,
Okay.
where globalization has increased a lot, trade has increased a lot, and we're interested to know whether we're actually seeing this leveling off of environmental impacts that are projected to occur as we get wealthier. So the general theory is that as people get wealthier, they have more ability to reduce their environmental impact.
Okay.
So we should get this essentially a curve
Okay.
that we see that eventually people will have a lower environmental impact than when they're at lower stages of development.
Okay. Understand. And how can you calculate the global emission from globalization and trade between countries?
Yeah, well, with these consumption-based approaches, we're able to bring in a lot of the trade data,
Okay.
the production data, and the emissions data in different countries.
Okay.
And by trade linking all these different data sets, we're able to actually capture the effects of the emissions in various different countries around the world.
Okay.
What, for example, emissions from a coal-fired power plant are embodied in the steel production that's used in a car that's being produced. And the interesting aspect is that when you do this, you actually get a very different picture of our development pathways than if we count, for just example, the carbon emissions that that are embodied in the production of Europe. So if we include the trade aspects into the development debate, then we see that Europe isn't going so well in terms of decoupling our environmental impact from our economic growth.
So there is also a point on resource extraction by industry. So can you tell us more about this point?
Yeah, well, through these projects looking at development and globalization, we're very focused on environmental emissions, on carbon emissions.
Okay.
But it's also really interesting to see how we're going in terms of other environmental impacts that occur, such as resource use, resources such as land and water and materials. And due to a lot of policy that's occurred, we're actually seeing some good progress happening on reducing carbon emissions.
Okay.
Whether it will be enough, we'll see. But what's maybe a little bit scarier is that for other resources, we're not seeing this. Due to the increase in trade and the increase in globalization over the last 20 years, we're actually seeing that the impacts of a lot of developed countries is actually increasing faster than economic growth.
Okay.
And this is definitely a very large cause for concern.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, and there's, you work also for the consortium Exiobase. Can you tell us more about this consortium? And,
yeah, well, Exiobase is a consortium grew out of about 10 different institutes. There's about 6 core institutes in it.
Okay.
And we've been funded by the EU FP7 research program to produce some of these data sets. So this consortium brings together both economic experts, ecosystem experts, trade experts and emissions experts all together to produce the models that can actually answer these questions about, well, just how much impact does our developing world have on the environment, and what
so it's a
we need to do.
big consortium.
Yeah, we have there's about 30 or 40 people involved in this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it's to link all the subjects and all the research subjects about this globalization and emission.
Yeah, essentially it's somewhat like a big data project in a sense. We're bringing in, we don't do so much collection of data ourselves, but we do a lot of linking of data and a lot of integration of different data sets in order to connect these socio-economic aspects of development into the environmental consideration that we're interested in.
Okay. Okay, it's always difficult to record when there is when we have to. Okay, so thank you very much, Richard, for this very interesting subject again.
Yeah.
And we will enjoy the path by biking. No, bye.
Thanks, Nicholas.